What's up, you guys? I'm Alex from Modern Homemaker. Today I'm sharing with you a very special video because it's my very first video that I've ever made on this new apartment that we're renting. After almost a whole year of us looking at every apartment in Madrid city, we finally landed on this beautiful apartment that has a lot of outdoor space for me to work on my projects. So I'm finally going to be able to be working on newer projects for this channel and also bigger ones because we have a lot of space to fill and almost non-existent furniture. This is also my very first build made exclusively with bought wood. I'm still working with pine wood because it seems to be the cheapest thing to get my hands on here. We brought with us the pallet chairs that I've made on our previous rental, but I have already made a new coffee table that I'm going to be sharing very soon here on my channel. But for now, let me show you how I created this mid-century modern TV console. And if you like this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, and all of that. Let's jump into the video. What better way to start a new project than with some music and a bit of winter cold? So let's take all the materials out first, and as you may have noticed, we got some new tools that I've never used before, and of course that we're gonna be using today for this project. And while we're on it, let me make a fool of myself too. Why not? Like in any other project that anyone has ever done before, I'm starting off with some measurements, marking all of the vertical pieces as well as the sides, since the top and bottom of the console are actually just as big as the pine boards that I got, which is 2 meters. And I made this working bench to extend the length that I could cut with my brand new and very inexpensive table saw, but I had some technical difficulties with it. In retrospect, this worked pretty good for me to get 2 full projects done before New Year's, and it's definitely not a long-term solution, but it got the work done. And I'm all about getting the work done and not so much about the how I got there. Yeah. So after a quick fix, we were off to a good start cutting the boards, and I thought of helping myself with the steps on the right to ensure support on the ends of the boards, as well as hopefully getting a clean cut. And it worked, yay! As I mentioned in the intro of the video, this is my first on many different things, so it's very exciting when things go how I intended. To summarize, I had a top and a bottom full length and full width boards, 4 tall length dividers, and 3 shelves. And to join them all together, I'll be adding a dowel system. For this, you'll need some dowels, obviously, some depth stops for your drill bit, a dowel jig, and I think it goes without saying that you'll clearly need a drill for this as well. I'll try to put a link on the description down below with the instructional video that I used to understand how to properly use this system, but it's nothing fancy really. You basically mark the spot and set the dowel jig over it on the position indicated to best fit with your wood thickness. And then drill down the depth using the stoppers on the drill bit for even consistency throughout all of your holes. Then you'll just put a dowel on it and get down on it. Get down on it. Yeah, sorry, I meant you put the dowel in and then you make sure the part sticking out fits inside the receiving party without going through. Actually, you should do that before and not after. It's good to plan those type of things ahead, just so you know. And then you repeat it over and over on all of the edge connections, adding the dowels at the ends with some glue and checking if the part of the dowel sticking out is the correct size. For the receiving party, it works a bit differently because you'll be using the dowels previously made to ensure a perfect fit. So first, make sure to mark the proper placement for the separators, as well as assigning a letter system to each row. And then use the dowel jig to transfer the placement of the dowel to the fitting board. Like I said, you should probably check the video down in the description or any other instructional video to further understand how to work with this joinery, because I'm too lazy to explain it. I will say that it is a good idea to hold them together properly, because the way that I did it caused it to shift a little bit during the drilling process, and that totally ruined the perfect fit aspect of this technique. But it's really not hard to do at all. If I'm using it, I'm quite lazy and a smartass, so if I can do it, anyone can really. This is the part that takes the longest to do also, but after it's done, the assembly gets really fast and easy. Now, repeating the same steps on the top of the bread of the sandwich and also where the shelving for the media will be sitting. And then we can start joining it all together. I have to admit that gluing this was not as smooth or as easy as I imagined. Thank God I had an extra pair of hands home in time for this one, because my idea of how this all should come together was completely wrong. After the fact, I think we should have started on the other side first, but who knows if that would have actually made any difference at all. A few moments later. It was late that day already, so we concentrated on getting the outer shell of the build together just in time for Christmas. Oh my god, Merry Christmas! In March. Whatever, that goes to show you how much I procrastinate editing my videos. But next Monday I was feeling motivated to finally finish this project, and having the opportunity to see this build on its place made me realize the terrible mistake that I have made. It was too tall. So we got it back out, became the cutest couple of the internet. Oh, so cute. And then I measured a reasonable height for a TV stand. Remember, Quasimodo, you have no legs, I have no legs. So keep that in mind, I'll keep that in mind. And then the only way that I thought I could trim the excess without having to do everything again was with a jigsaw and the sort of ledge from the table saw. This part is me basically redoing everything that I already did just a few minutes ago, so I'll spare you the details, but I like to include the whole process of me making the build versus just sharing a tutorial, because I feel most of you are not actually going to make this. And also, learning is a process, and I've never actually been on any wood course or class or anything like that. But with every mistake, I learn. And that's how stubborn people learn best, in my opinion. Not that I'm stubborn, whatever, like I'm not stubborn at all. For the legs, I made a couple of test designs till I found just the right one. And then made 4 pairs of it, so 8 legs total, to glue in pairs and make thicker legs that could actually hold the weight of a 65-inch screen and 3 humongous drawers. Notice that the final design has a little angle on the top that tilts the legs outwards. Mid-century modern designs have a variety of legs, including ones that go straight down, but I like the look of this better. And while that dries, I made some strips of wood that I thought of putting in between the 4 legs to make like a sort of base to put the whole TV stand on. These little details really make or break a design, and in this case I believe it gave it a more professional look, but more importantly, they help the legs stand in that tilt position without giving out. To get them on, we added the same dowel system that I've used all throughout this build to ensure a correct placement of the legs, and then let it dry. Next day was drawers day, yay! First time ever making drawers. Again, not hard, but there's a couple of things that you'll need. First, it's important to take into consideration the space that the drawer slides will occupy on the inside of the drawer hole. And in my very short experience making this, I say you should make the drawer boxes even a little teensy tiny bit smaller. And then making the drawer inserts is as simple as making the 4 sides and adding a groove about 1 centimeter above the edge in all 4 pieces for a panel that would become the bottom of the drawer. I did 2 passes, just a few millimeters apart, to make it wide enough for the insert to fit loosely in it. And for this I had to change my blade for a smaller one, since this table saw doesn't have an adjustable blade. And if you notice, I'm using chipboard for this because it is lighter in weight, and this build was already super heavy and massive. And I got them together just with glue and a couple of nails. I'll leave a tutorial of the whole drawer making process from another woodworking gal, the amazing Shara from Woodshop Diaries. I highly recommend that you check her out. In most of her videos, she provides detailed instructions as well as a written guide of how she makes everything. To create the drawer's front, I started with the full-length blank, and taking advantage of the smaller blade that I had already installed, decided to mark a few lines on it for a little something. Then I cut the edge at 45 degrees angle to be able to open the drawers. And lastly, I measured the console so that the 3 drawer fronts would be the exact same length and got them cut. The width of the blade gave me just enough space between the drawers for them to function as individual drawers, but still letting the viewers understand that they all came from the same piece of wood, making the build appear longer and overall more cohesive. I got them on just with some glue and clamps, but I've seen people adding short screws from the inside, but pine wood tends to get wobbly with humidity and other factors, so for me glue was the safer option. I finish off this build with a quick sanding and some tint and wood wax. Sanding is by far my least favorite thing about woodworking, but it made me so proud to see this build finally finished that I did it happily. At first the color seemed too dark for what I wanted, but turns out that I only had to let it sit for a couple of hours. And with that, I can proudly present to you this mid-century modern TV console. Seeing the quality of this build in comparison to some of my older projects comes to show you how much I've grown and how much I'm hoping to continue to grow on this and the many other years to come for me and for this channel that I humbly created to share a bit of my creativity and madness with you guys. Hope to see you very soon on my next video, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more content like this.